So you just got done playing Persona 4 Golden on Steam, and you have a Persona-shaped hole in your heart needing to be filled with games of similar quality. Well, have no fear. I have a selection of games here that should tickle your fancy and fill that hole. Today I'm going to give you a selection of some games similar to Persona that you may enjoy, and ones that you should definitely check out if you are a fan of the Persona series in general. Now let's get the obvious out the way. If you've been playing Persona 4 Golden obsessively like I have, you probably already know there are other Persona games. It is the 4th in the franchise, so you could go back and play 3, 2, 1, 5 or even 5 Royal or any of the spin-offs. And if Persona 4 Golden and Persona 5 are the only ones you've played, I definitely recommend Persona 3, because I think the story is probably better than both of them, in my personal opinion. I think the characters are awesome, the story's better, the dungeons isn't better. You're in Tartarus, so it's basically a big tower and you just keep going up. It's not as interesting as 4 or 5 dungeons, but the story is. The characters are, you still have the social links, everything else is still there, the music's fantastic. So if you can, play Persona 3. 2 and 1's great as well, but it's a bit harder to get into. And then you have the mainline SMT games. So if you didn't know, Persona is actually part of the wider SMT universe, Shin Megami Tensei universe, all using the same demons. That's what incorporates the whole universe. So you got like Nocturne, Strange Journey, the actual mainline series, SMT, and there's too much. There's too much. So I'll tell you the best ones to pick if you want to go down that route. So of course the first one is the mainline one, so you could pick Shin Megami Tensei 4, which is on 3DS. It has a great tutorial for this one. Great for newcomers, and I know you're not newcomers because you're playing Persona, but it's a bit different with the mainline games. The dungeons are a lot fucking harder. The combat in general is a lot harder, but if you're used to the combat in Persona, you'll be used to it here. The only difference is that there's a lot less social links, there's a lot less fanning about outside. So if that's the parts you like about Persona, I've got other games for you coming up in the list. But if you love the combat, if you love that strategic combat, fighting an enemy's weakness, finding out the enemy's weakness and exploiting it, you will love Shin Megami Tensei 4, and that's the one I'd pick. Another one I'd pick is Nocturne on the PS2. It's running on the same engine as Persona 4, so it's quite easy to get from Persona 4 Golden to Nocturne. It's kind of an easy transition. Same kind of combat, but again, like Shin Megami Tensei, it's more combat orientated than social orientated. But if that tickles your fancy, then that's another game you should definitely check out. Now, moving away from all that, we have another Atlas game, Catherine. If you love Persona, you will love Catherine. The gameplay is completely different. Completely different. There's no demons, there's no demon catching, no demon training, none of that. But the social side is 100% the same. If you love Persona 5, 4, 3, you know, any of that stuff, you will love Catherine. It's made by the same goddamn developer. It even has the same voice actress, Laura Bailey, playing Catherine, as it does Rize. So, you know, if you love that, you definitely should check out Catherine. It's kind of a more mature game. It's a choice-based game. Choices affect the ending. There's about 12 ending, good, bad, neutral, for each of the characters. There's 3 girls you can end up with, all uniquely different. The story is fantastic, one of the best Atlas has ever done. So, massive praise for Catherine. If you love Persona, 100% play Catherine, and it's on Steam. 100% pick up Catherine. Next up, we have Fire Emblem. Now, this has kind of a social aspect similar to Persona. You can pair your characters up in battle, and they will rise in ranks. And when they get to S rank, you can marry them. And I'm going to talk about Awakening, because when that happens, you can have kids with your partner, and then you can train your kids and have them in battle as well, which I just think is amazing. Three Houses is a great one if you have a Switch. 3 distinct stories. All amazing. I'm Team Edelgard all the way. But Awakening has that atmosphere. It has Lucina in, you know, from Super Smash Bros. Chrom as well. You know, so 2 of those characters in Super Smash Bros. So you probably know them. But the characters all talk to each other. They all have that interaction. So if you love that side of Persona, you'll like it here. The difference is the combat is turn-based overhead strategy rather than JRPG turn-based combat. So, you know, you're moving them a couple of steps at a time. but it still has that kind of weakness, strength, exploit system. So if you're an archer, there's a dragon over there, you know, fire at the dragon, critical hit, weak to it, it'll probably die. It has that kind of Pokemon-esque aspect. So if you love the combat, I still think you'd love it. So Fire Emblem is a big recommendation for people who love Persona. Another big one, which is also on the Switch, Valkyrie Chronicles. This again has that social aspect. Your characters are always talking to each other. You can pick who you want on your team. The difference is, this is again similar to Fire Emblem. It has that kind of turn-based strategy-esque system. The difference is with this, it's also a third-person shooter. You're like, what? So basically you deploy in the map. Yeah? You have a couple of moves each turn. You can pick your assault person, move them to the end of the turn, then fire at someone, and it's in third person, so you're actually aiming, shooting, fire at them, then, you know, end your turn, and then you've still got, like, say, another turn left. You can pick that same person again and fire at someone else. So you can have tanks, all different classes, all different characters of people. You know, you've got anime girls with guns, like snipers, and you shoot someone and they kind of do like a... It's like, what? It's that wackiness, that charm of Persona, but in like a World War setting with third-person shooting and strategy. Come on. You gotta like that. You gotta like that. The next ones I'd recommend are all visual novels. So this is for people who love the story aspect. The whole, you know, meeting different people, exploring what interests they have, eventually dating them. If you love that, these games will be for you. First up is Danganronpa. Now this is a visual novel, but it's more a fun kind of mystery solving visual novels, similar to like Persona 4. You're trying to figure out who's the bad guy, who done it, you know, it's that got that Persona 4 quality with the anime characters, with the voice dialogue, with all the options you can choose, different endings, different all this and that. So that's the first one I'd pick. There is also Doki Doki Literature Club, which you've probably all heard of. Everyone played it on Steam, but that's similar. All these different girls, ones to choose from, different paths. Very unique, very interesting, very kind of weird and scary game by the end. But 100% one to check out if you love it as well. There's also Clanad, but if you want to cry, then play Clanad. But if you don't play Clanad. The final one, the biggest one I'm going to recommend today, and my number one recommendation is Katawa Shoujo. This visual novel is fucking amazing. It's probably my favourite on this list. Now, it's very weird. It's got that weird quality about it, but all the girls are unique and have something interesting about them. So your protagonist has a heart condition, and he's taken to this school for basically people with different conditions. It's a bit weird. It's a bit of a weird plot. But everyone has a condition at this school, and the girls that you meet are all very interesting, very cool, and unique in their own way. You have like Emmy, who has no legs. She's like metal legs, but she loves athletics. You have Lily, the really posh blind girl, who's probably the favourite. You got Hanako, the burn victim, who's really shy. And you got Rin, who's got no arms. It's kind of similar to Chie. She loves art. There's too many good characters in this game, so many choices. And there's also a choice kind of like in Catherine, where you can just end up with a guy on top of the roof drinking, and then you have a heart attack and die. So there's great choices. It's an amazing choice game, and all the characters fucking flawless. So if you've never played Katawa Shoujo, then definitely play it. That does it for my recommendations. Hopefully some of these games fill your Persona-shaped hole that you have in your heart. And if not, just replay Persona. So let me know in the comments below if you've played these games already. What do you think about them? Do you hate them? Do you love them? Let me know, and we'll see you again on another video.